So I just want to make a quick little video. It's probably going to turn out a little long. I don't know. Just want to, I don't know if I even want to have an update. I don't know if I even want to put this on, but it's been day 5. Day 5 now. Pretty much crippling depression, no motivation. I just have enough motivation to get up and go for a walk, take a dog for a walk, take the dogs for a walk, and I know that makes me feel better. So I want people to know that depression is real, and it can happen to you without even expecting it, right? It could be caused by someone else's actions triggering and it's like a snowball effect of bad choices and just, you know what I mean? And I know this is all about, I want this to be motivational, I want this to be positive, and I'm going to find the positive in this. I just refuse to be hurt. I refuse to be a victim. I refuse to be kind of knocked down. We're all human, and we can be trying to do the best we can. And you've seen I've been getting content and, you know, being positive and getting lots accomplished. And then just like that, you know, the wind can get taken out of your sails. And I guess it's like the Buddha, the complete, or whoever in India, the philosophers, they say like complete enlightenment is when you're not affected by anybody's actions. But these actions can kind of affect everyone, and it's kind of another thing I want to touch on is the Bible was I'm finding through Jordan Peterson was more like a metaphor of how life is, and we really do have like a spiritual battle going on with us and our morality and how we treat ourselves and how we treat each other. It is really a spiritual battle, and I think there are true life demons out there. It's simple how demons can sneak themselves back into your life, or at least make appearances, you know what I mean? But just, they're not even doing anything to you, but they're doing something to someone else, or they're, you know what I mean? And it's up to us to keep them out of our lives and defend ourselves and defend our families. And yeah, be very cautious of who you very cautious of people and their intentions and their insincerities, I guess you could say, and sometimes people's lack thereof empathy for other people, you know, almost finding pleasure in people's suffering. There's a spiritual battle out there, and we have to sometimes we can't help the fact that it happens to us, but it's up to us to get them out of our lives. And because that's not the way of life. So just wanted to wrap it up. It's a beautiful night, just getting a bit of sun. She's a chilly one. Just pulled off a good walk. I feel like I might be making a communication with the ravens out there. Start talking to them. And I joke about my last, like that same job where all the demons were. Like my closest friends, the people I miss the most are probably the ravens, because actually I fed them all the time, and I think they actually had me trained, because if I didn't feed them, they would somehow make an appearance and they'd jump in front of me and they'd go, "Oh, here, what are you doing? Not feeding me." So I go back and feed them. had a connection with them, and they, kind of talk, and they just kind of hang out, and it was cool to have a connection with wildlife like that. And I know it can get deeper than that too, because they're very intelligent. So that was cool. That was cool today. Sparrowhawk was floating around. He was awesome. That was awesome to watch. So we're not going to be negative forever, and we're not going to be depressed forever. And I think that's one thing I want to make really clear, that is that no matter how low you feel and how lonely you actually feel, just push through, man. Push through. I know a lot of people they say that they're there for us, and I get the feeling it's really sad, and it really is, and it's true. Those are the people that would say to you after, if something really bad happened to you, be like, oh, if you only would say something, if you only would talk about it, or if you only would bring it up. But the truth of the matter is, you can't talk about that stuff to people, because people don't care. And actually, the truth is, if you actually told people that form of insincerity that you would get from some people, at least, that's why it's very important to be careful of what you tell people, good news or bad news, because you tell people you're suffering, and people are going to find that weakness, and they're going to make you go even further. So just be strong. I don't want to say just be alone, but you got to learn to be strong alone. You really do. You have to learn to take care of ourselves, because really it seems like nobody else is there for you. It really does. It's that's the cold hard truth about it. I think we're born into this world alone, we die alone. And I think the thing is just to learn. I'm trying to learn self-love. It sounds really corny and hippie-ish to me, but I think sometimes we're our worst enemies. So if anything is one thing I can tell you, if all you can do is muster up getting out for a walk, trust me, that's enough. It's enough. And it will lead you to more and more and more and more and more, eventually snapping out of it again. I haven't drank for, it's going to be almost 12 months now. And, sometimes you go through, like, if I was going through something when I was going through just the last little bit, while I was drinking, I would have been full-blown probably drinking the whole 5 days. Probably, or at least every second day quite a bit, just enough to drown the sorrows and forget about it, because alcohol does help with that. It really does. It's very good for short-term stuff, but in the long term, no. I almost find it like it's almost a miracle that it's a miracle that I haven't drank, but at the same time, I don't have any urges whatsoever. Like, it's the demons I don't want to be like, that are reminding me all the time, you know what I mean? And demons meaning people with substance abuse issues, and people who have no problem selling drugs to people who have substance abuse issues, because they're, as far as I'm concerned, they're still part of the problem. Demons seem to creep back into people's lives without our permission. So it's up to us to get them out. So, just want to wrap this up. We're snapping out of it. We're going to have a good day tomorrow. We're going to have a very productive day. And if anything, I just want to let everybody know, like, I'm a human. We're all human. It's very vulnerable for me to come out here and show this video if I ever do. I don't know if I will. But very vulnerable for me to do that. But at the same time, I can find it very liberating and very therapeutic, because, like I said, sometimes you don't feel like you have anybody in your court. You don't feel like you have anybody to talk to. And if anything is happening right now with this, me getting content, is actually, I find this is therapeutic. And I've been saying this quite a bit recently, and I didn't really understand how therapeutic it was, but it kind of helps me snap out of reality, talk it out, You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I have the courage to put this on. I really hope I do. Morning, folks. Up for the morning hike. I just wanted to, I didn't film a whole lot of this just because it's my first big hike of the year. A little out of shape. Yeah, do my best to spruce the mood. Don't want to, that's probably why I'm not filming too, is because I'm not in the greatest mood, but feeling better being out here. Right there, I'll end up on that cliff, and an early weekday morning where there's no one around. It's nice. I was going to come here yesterday. Would have been a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and this place gets pretty packed. I'm an introvert, and it's just a little discouraging that these trails have certain restrictions on them. Like, I got to put a dog leash on my dog. That's why Sally's not here. I don't know. You pay taxes in the area, and then they make you want to pay extra just to show up here. It's starting to get old. I think I'll be doing a lot more hikes off grid here pretty soon. I want to do a few big ones on the nice national parks we have, but even then, turn into suburbia in the summertime. But yeah, I'm just gonna film these pretty much the good sites here. I'm gonna see if the drone will let me put it up. That's another thing. I'm in a conservation area, so we'll see if they'll let me put the drone up here. If they don't, I probably won't be coming back here very often. I just don't like the restrictions they're putting on people. Next video, I'll be cheerful. Check this place out, eh? I guess this kind of explains why northwestern Ontario isn't so populated. Maybe our rugged shorelines, rugged land, maybe it can have something to do with it. Like always, I have a candy in my mouth, but I'm on a pretty stringent hike, pretty big hike right now. Stringent, I'm not sure what that meant, but yeah, that's not good. Well, we're at about, I'd say phase 2, phase 3 of the hike. There's like maybe 5 phases of this hike, but I just have to get to that cliff over there, and then my journey is just a little ways around the corner. I might go to Molly Mountain. All depends. Starting to gain more energy as I go here. But how beautiful is this? Yeah. Sometimes all you need is just to get out here in the wilderness and hear the silence and just soak it all in. Seems to, whatever life's worries seem to kind of go away. It's kind of amazing, eh? I really hope this camera's giving it justice. I don't know how high I am, but I'm pretty high. I'm about as high as I can be. I think that cliff may just be like not much higher, less than like 50 feet higher if it is. But the view seems a million times better. So yeah, I'm gonna take another shot when I get over there. It's Lake Superior, for anyone who, yeah, it's Lake Superior, middle of Canada. It's basically a freshwater ocean. It's huge, and she's deadly. She's deadly like the ocean. They call it the lake that never gives back its dead. And I had an argument with a friend of mine one time. I remember hearing this, and it makes sense if you look at the volume of the whole lake. The whole lake only changes 2 degrees over the whole year. It goes from +1 to -1. So sure, it gets warm on the shorelines. It gets, obviously you can swim, not for very long though in the summertime, but you can swim on shorelines. Maybe the beachy ones you can swim all, like, a good chunk of the summer because they're shallow. But yeah, they call it the lake that never gives back its dead, because once you sink in there, you don't rot and you don't bloat, so you just stay in the bottom. Pretty brutal, eh? They also say Lake Superior has a problem with being too clean, how cold the water is. And but we're also not immune to invasive species. We have zebra mussels, I believe, and some sort of carp are coming into Lake Superior, and they eat everything. So who knows? We'll have to see what happens. But these things can adapt to the cold, and we'll have to see what happens. I don't think it would take over the whole lake, but who knows in time. I mean, it's a pretty big lake to be taken over. And there's all types of fish in here, big fish, sturgeon. I've seen pictures. I know guys who've caught big sturgeon. I know a person who caught a 44-pound just out of Kekabeka Dam there, just below there, up the Kaministiquia River. And we've seen, like, down Duluth, they've had people who've caught them when they're over 6 feet long. So I mean, and they're over 100 years old. They're prehistoric dinosaurs, and I have a funny feeling they're probably a lot older than that too. Yeah, science needs to be observed to be proven fact, and, like, how do we even observe a sturgeon's lifetime? You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm gonna get going. Cooled off, and I'm ready to start hiking again. So yeah, next time you'll see me over there. Get work done, folks. Huge victories. Tiny victories turn into huge victories. I'm going to start heading back down now. There's all types of cliffs, and the bears are just about to start waking up right now. They're probably already woken up. I haven't heard anything yet in the bush. I don't really have any protection. I only have a knife on me. But I know growing up in the country that animals are more afraid of you than they're more afraid of you than you are of them. And that says a lot, because we're pretty afraid of them. And I mean, I'm not terrified, but you got to be honestly cautious about them. Bull, moose, basically are probably the worst thing you ever want to run into in the bush, especially in rutting season, and deer for that matter. Male deer, they could charge you. My uncle was chased up a tree by a moose in hunting season. If he didn't, I forget how it ended, but I think he was able to just ward it. I think he even his gun dropped, because he just had to climb up there, and he had to get up, and he stayed up there for a long time, he said. So it does happen. The one thing I'm really, I'd love to see would be a mountain lion, because they are around here. I know I need a better camera. It had the Osmo's coming, but even then it would probably be too far away. But who knows? So yeah, I'm gonna put this camera down, because I'm starting to head into some pretty steep land, and I need to get a hiking stick. I've already started slipping, because it just started melting. I mean, everything's just melted now. I'll be over there shortly. This whole thing, you know, they make a mistake of they put blockages on people being able to cut things on here or camp. I mean, look at all this bush. Like, this is all fire. Let's see if I can get a view of this. So I mean, we want to put some extra effort into, I don't really know, but I think we can do localized burns, you know what I mean? Get spots where they can burn all this stuff. People come to trails, why not somehow clean up the brush around the edges, because it kind of is ugly. No offense. You know what I mean? It's nice that someone's doing it, but you can always do more. Okay? Paying enough taxes. Where's our taxes going to? Anyways, this is actually a really nice trail. I don't mean to be complaining too much. This gibber driving too much. Big, huge dead tree. Big crack ready to go. Yeah. They call those widow makers. Yeah. There's lots of them out here. You gotta look for them. I mean, just pay attention, right? There's no wind today, not a whole lot of wind. That's actually one thing my cousin taught me at a young age was watch out for the widow makers. And he explained to me what they were, and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, is potentially one. There's a whole bunch. You see the tops are dead. Yeah, this is pretty, fortunately this bush will probably go up in flames one of these days. Dry winter this winter. After 2 years of getting like 12 feet of snow or 13 feet of snow, we got very little snow. It feels like we only got like 3-4 feet. Just me and Woody today. Man, I tell you, just getting out here helps you detach from everything out there. I mean, wherever, you know what I mean? And sometimes we get lost in our heads. We have so much pressure going on. We have to stop and like kind of smell the roses. Yeah, there's a cedar growing on the edge of the little runoff here. Bunch of cedars. Toughest tree around here. Probably the most indigenous too. We used to have huge pines. Everything got cut down. Yeah, there's gnarly northwestern Ontario. Come around the corner and I see this. Comforting, eh? Be afraid. I don't know. Don't be stupid and go near the edge, I guess that means. Yeah. That was a hawk. The peregrine falcon. Heard of peregrine falcons going after drones. And she is quite windy up here. And if my drone goes down in this kind of bush, I am, yeah, should be a big hunt. Not really sure if I'm up for that right now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Did this once last year. And yeah. Getting closer. Where are you, mountain lion? Where are you, Sasquatch? Yeah, if there's Sasquatch out here, if they're real, yeah, this would be the place to hide. Not saying they're real, but who knows, right? I think they're smarter than we imagine. If they are real, they can survive in this environment, and not be found. They got to be more intelligent than us. Just like dolphins and just like ravens in their environment, right? I actually hope I'd ever see one. At least up close. Because they'll probably end me. Make some good content though. Okay, let's get going. It gets a little cool when you stop for a second there. So yeah, right up on top of these hills here, the highest parts, we're going to see some big pines. And these were where they couldn't log, or it was just too hard to get the lumber down. And they were little too, probably, then. But yeah, here's some remnants of the pines that were left when Europeans colonized North America and were given 160 acres to farm the wood, farm the land, and they came here and cut all the wood down, and then there's nothing left for them, and they just left and moved on to wherever else. More than likely kept going further west, and that's what happened to our land here. And yes, it got taken from the Native American here, and it's a horrible thing. Fortunately, atrocities happen to a lot of nationalities in this world, but this one's one of the most recent, and it didn't stop until like something like the 80s with residential schools and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go into detail about that one, but yeah, a little bit of history of the land and why it's not the way it was. There's some pine. See what I mean? We'll see some bigger ones, but so gnarly they didn't want to waste the effort to get it down in the lake, and that was the only way of them getting it out. Flowed huge barges down to big cities. That's where everyone got their wood from. I guess it was a big part of the Industrial Revolution. All of a sudden, you know, people, there's abundance of wood, people can build, do whatever they want. A lot of the, especially older Victorian homes in all the big cities around North America probably have lumber from up here, probably. Yeah, question. What is the best editing advice you could give me, I guess, and what sites I can use, and you know, I'm starting to come to the realization that it probably wouldn't hurt to get some help. So yeah, everybody hopes to get monetized, right? So yeah, I want to do the best videos I can, and with the best editing I can do. So like, I'm willing to pay for a nice editing system, and I know with time I can learn yeah, if anybody can throw me some advice, I'm going to get these videos out here shortly. They're going to be pretty raw, the first bunch. But the first bunch are all about learning, right? And so yeah, if you have any advice on just editing tips, you know, if people just like it raw, that's even good enough for me too, because that's probably simple for me. I don't, I'm not flashy. Like I said, I don't do social networking very much anymore. I used to have Facebook when I had a business going, seems like 10 years ago. But yeah, something seemed really unauthentic about it. And the whole thing with the social networking. Right. But I do see an advantage to being able to do something like this, doing vlogs, and like something like this could be helpful. The majority I see on Facebook, because I do share a joint account with the wife, and seems to be triggering stuff. You know what I mean? Things to keep you on longer. I'm noticing that, and I think I just want to get off less and less. And this might, you know, I don't want this to draw me back into being chatty Cathy on the computer. You know what I mean? We can't fix all the world's problems, so let's just try and fix our own, right? Tiny victories, little ones at a time. Let's get going. Well, I'm out here also solo without any dogs. I used to go in the bush often with, I'd always have a dog with me. And usually I always went with somebody else too. Usually was always somewhat partying at the time. And yeah, not partying anymore, and don't tend to want to socialize with people much anymore. I'd have Sally here, but she's timid, she's very young, and I think this would have been a good hike for her, but at the same time it's really gnarly at times, and she's still very elasticy and very just very puppy, right? She probably burn out quick. Odie's not in the greatest shape, and Odie tends to take off. Odie would probably have no problem doing this, but I could see over time he'd probably get tired. He's like our big silverback gorilla, but very strong, very capable dog, but unfortunately just not. This is pretty serious hiking. You need like a good outdoor dog. I used to have good outdoor dogs. I used to have 2 American Staffordshires, Todd and Sadie. Take him out everywhere with me. And I'll tell you one thing, I was never afraid. And I'm not afraid now. I've learned. Like I said earlier on this start of the video there, animals are more afraid of us than we are of them. It's actually quite nice coming by yourself, not having to worry about dogs. Not having to worry about them getting hurt or porcupine or chasing a bear or something like that, you know what I mean? Or disappearing after a deer. It's what has happened with the dogs. You know, these anxiety heart attacks that happen with dogs. Getting stuff caught in their feet, or twigs stuck in their eyes, or who knows, you know, I mean, all these things happen. The bush is gnarly. So there's also something to be said about just coming out of here by yourself. It's a whole different experience. You don't get views like this very often. Well, you do around Thunder Bay, but you have to work for them. And this is just probably one of Thunder Bay's top top 10 at least best views around. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see, but this whole strip out there, that's Isle Royale. You can see it really good today. It looks like that's the end of it, and I guess that's the lighthouse. Usually it's pretty foggy and can't really see that well, but yeah. Those are strange up there. I don't really understand that. I think those are clouds. Or mountains back there, I don't know. I think that's, yeah, that's a sleeping giant back there. Sleeping giant's back there. Thunder Bay is just around the bend back there. That's where I came from, up was right there. Yeah, it's probably not a good thing to fly the drone up in this wind anyways. You can tell there's quite a bit of wind up here. Yes, nice back here, eh?
Feeder Rock Recent Boot Mr. Foot Production. Feeder Rock Recent Boot Mr. Foot Production.
Not supposed to have fires, I believe, up here. That's something you would have to call when I last came here. But looks like maybe a chainsaw did that. So more than likely it was rangers. Yeah, I just want to apologize also for just being kind of negative at the start of the trail, talking about how dirty it was, and not dirty. There's no garbage. It just seems to be old bush that, you know, that's obviously they can't take care of that. That's hard.